Try it. Go on.
You can you gotta stop acting like you're 6'2", 200 out here, man. Like
game. Y'all better
like he's playing bully ball with small kids.
I was about to say, are you one of them guys who puts arms out and I play good D because I hold you in between my arms the whole time?
I got good D. Exactly. That's Griner. Like, what you call foul for? What you call foul? That's exactly Griner right there.
He get in the stance. Tell him, Griner, it's all about the stance.
We had way too much fun on this show.
I tell my DBs, I play the basketball the same way. You jam with your feet, not your hands.
Way too much fun on this show. All right, fellas, we're going to start the show. We're going to put Coach Bryan Till, Mr. Energy, in the back room, in the green room. Snacks while you're back there, Coach. We have you back in the middle.
I don't know if that room can hold him. I don't know if
Jack up, right?
Through.
Well, it's about that time. Nobody has on a tux tonight. I thought you guys might get all dressed up tonight.
That's a nice pullover that zips up.
All you had to do was tell us.
For the last show.
This is like
a t-shirt. It's like a nice pullover.
Here we go. Man, guys, we've been doing this show since what, February? March?
I'm just letting the Charlotte Observer know real quick while we're live is I'll give you my address for a gift card. No big deal. But
I just want to click on the articles that I'm a part of, so I don't have to pay for them. Like I'm helping there. I'm having to pay for this.
A gas card. I can't even. Yeah.
You guys have been really good, man, coming on every week. We had a ball talking to college coaches. We talked to high school coaches. We featured a bunch of kids. Mm-hmm. It's been fun. And we come to our last show of the fall. We're gonna give away our High School Heisman tonight. We got Coach Bryan Till in the back. We got Jason Estep on the show. All three finalists for the High School Heisman are gonna be on. Sam's gonna give out the big award. And we are going to do it in the spring. I keep saying that because I keep getting that question. We are going to do it in the spring. Sam and Grice are going to have their watch list. We're going to put it out every week. Kenzie's going to be interviewing people. Nothing's going to change. We're going to have all the zany, all the fun right back in the spring. Guys, first off, Christ School beat Harold Christian 55-21 in the state D2 state championship game on Friday. Should they have been in the D1 playoffs? And should we look at revising the D1 playoffs?
Sure. Yeah. I think that it's tough. I think that normally it's an easy decision, like who's in the Division I playoffs. But during COVID, everybody only played within small groups with each other. So I think that factored in. They had to go off the cuff to figure out who's going to be the four teams that are in the Division I playoffs. And it's just harder when they only play each other. Very difficult.
Yeah. Gary,
I think it's an aberration, like Sam said. You had unique circumstances this season where the main goal was just to play football, and anything after that you would have to accept. So, if this was a every season occurrence, yeah, it would have been misplaced. But like Sam said, due to COVID, just to get football in and to declare a winner is what the battle was about this year.
Nice.
Oh, it's awful. I mean, I think, one of the benefits that helped with COVID was to kind of shine a spotlight on this. And I mean, I think, you got this cloudy room full of, guys smoking cigars, putting, tiles on a wall, trying to figure out who goes where. And I think it's clear they made a big mistake. So, hopefully in the future that they'll take a closer look and ensure that, one, some of these teams are playing each other to help clear the picture up, but two, have an actual process around how these teams are getting selected for D1 and D2 and making sure that the right teams are in the right place.
Yeah. I like to say one thing too, the one aspect, I think Country Day could be the one that could have been looking on the outside. I think because Charlotte Christian and Providence Day both played each other very, very well. I think both of them deserved to be in it. Raven Gap obviously deserved to be in it, and I think the champions of the Division II should have been in it. Looking back on hindsight,
mm-hmm.
yeah, no doubt.
Right. Dale, what's on your mind?
I think they had a hard process this year, just simply because of the, as everybody said, the uniqueness that everybody played under. Certainly, it looks like they would have done well in Division I if they'd have been put in Division I, and may have made Division I more competitive, right?
Yeah, so, they beat Raven Gap.
Exactly.
Is you got the thoughts here? Should we change the playoffs? You think we're okay?
I think we should just have one playoff. Just one playoff.
I'm fine with that
straight
too.
Through. Best play the best. There's always a surprise team in there,
Might have some blowouts in round one, but I would be for that. You get to get down to the two best teams. Speaking of getting down to it, we got Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
We have three finals for the high school Heisman. What do you guys think? We got Russell Tabor Country Day. We got AJ Simpkins from Hopewell and Christ School, and we got Henry Rutledge and Charlotte Christian. What do you guys think? Sam's got to give it out. Sam, you can't talk because you know who you're picking. What do you guys think?
There are three studs, though. I
was surprised.
You were surprised how Kenzie?
Oh, goodness. Don't let Kenzie start.
How are you surprised, Kenzie?
Y'all changed it up on me. I didn't know AJ was going to be in there. I watched it on Saturday night, and that was not what we discussed on Monday, and it was bang. I was excited, though.
Anybody in North Carolina can be up for the Heisman. So. As we get to the spring,
we did three. We did the eye test. We did stats, and we did how well you did with your team. How did you affect your team? So I think the final three are perfect.
We had a whole lot of discussion too.
I was going to say, also, I think you look at those last 2 or 3 games that AJ played. I mean, I'd argue that in the last week, you talk about, even though we don't have it with Grice's Gems because he's getting enough highlights, he had the best game in the last week of any player, that played. So I think that did a lot to boost his numbers. And, you're talking almost 300 yards, 80-some%, above passing percentage, and really leading his team to the first championship. So, that's one of those things I think, on my board, he kind of shot up those last few weeks where in the beginning, I don't know if he was, being considered.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, Panthers and PJ Walker. Gary surprised? Not.
Yes and no. I'm not surprised anything that Coach Rule does. I think he knows how to hit all the right buttons with this team. And in 2 years, the Panthers are going to be. They're going to be a annual top 5-6 team in the NFL on a steady basis. It won't be this, one season good, one season bad like they've had in their previous.
They've never had back-to-back winning seasons.
Yeah, I think he'll bring that type of stability. I wasn't surprised. I think the kid had to find his rhythm, get used to the speed of the game. And then again, they were playing the Lions, who are one of the biggest underachievers in NFL history on an annual basis. So everything lined up right for him for his first start.
All right, we're gonna bring in.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the one thing, and I know Gary, I think we've kind of lightly touched on this, is this is the first program I've ever seen that has the backup looks very similar to the starter. It's like Dak Prescott and having a guy like Dak Prescott. You see that Teddy goes down and you got a guy that has very similar attributes, and I think that helps. And it makes more sense to me. Why wouldn't you have a guy when you can, at a level you can choose that acts very similar to your starter? I thought that helped a lot in his development.
All right, we're going to bring in a guy who knows a little bit about football right now.
The King.
Mr. Still the King, Jason Estep. What's up, Coach? We can't hear you. You got to hit the mute button down there.
That's right. The King
can hear us.
The King can't even speak.
He had to have his loyal servant help.
If he can't hear us, he needs to log off and get back on. He might not be able to hear us either.
Yeah, you might have logged back out, log back in.
But we can't hear.
Might have a
Bluetooth. We can't hear you. Log out and come back in.
Look at that boy, got the fresh shape up cut.
That's what you gotta do when you're the King. You're the King. You gotta get that. He knew he was coming on TV, baby.
I wish he would just like lay out his rings and just be like, my germs. You know what I'm saying?
He got like one for each finger, I think.
But
He's telling his family, I got to go talk to these court justices.
Hey, Griner, one thing you got to ask him that I think, I want him to, kind of talk about is like what he did different than I think, Providence Day a little bit. I think PD seemed a little static in their game, versus Raymond Gap. I think from the bit I saw, he changed it up a little bit more than they typically did to help kind of stop that run on the defensive side. So definitely you're a defensive guy, so get into that for sure.
Yeah, he's very good. Like I said, like I've never seen someone be able to play Catholic and stop the run like entirely. Like normally they can drive and then maybe they have a fumble and that they literally shut that stuff down. They're really good in their sounds. The defense coordinator, he's a defensive guy. Too.
Like I said, it's called defense.
Hey.
That's what he says. It's called defense. It's called defense.
Good stuff.
Raymond Gap didn't look like they had the capacity or the talent to have explosive plays. Am I right?
You missed that game
against Providence Day. They had a bunch of
it just looked like 4 yards in the cloud of dust against Christian.
But that's what I'm saying. That's my question, I think, Gary. What were some of the changes that led to that, as far as, just from a defensive standpoint? Because, again, like Langston kind of just pointed out, like, in Providence Day, it was 60 and 70-yard chunk plays. Here, it was a lot different than next week.
Tell you what,
but that wasn't a full –
one great coach. Let's bring in another great coach. Waiting in the back, we got Coach Bryan Till, Richmond Senior. Coach, I've been looking at Twitter. You guys went to a combine. You had the fastest guy. Your quarterback ran a 4.5, and he's like 230. I'm scared of him. You got linemen every time I look on Twitter, like squatting 500 and benching 400. I mean, what in the world are y'all putting in the water in Rockingham?
We can't give away those kind of secrets, man. That's high tech. You got to have security clearance to figure that out. Hey, I mean, really, it's just – people talk about culture or whatever you want to call it. And Richmond was good a long time before I was here and they'll be good after I'm gone, hopefully a long time from now. But these kids just believe and understand the game and that what it takes. And we got a special group of young men who they refuse to just stop working. And they're gonna get after it any chance they get. And everything we're doing with what we're doing training wise at the school, they're going out and working a little bit more, and that's just some of the videos. Those kids send me stuff. And I take a lot of pride in the fact that those kids feel good about sending me and the other coaches, hey, check me out doing this. They're proud of themselves and we are too.
Hey, Coach, I love, seeing you guys, shout out to Coach Campbell. He's one of my favorite guys out there too. One thing I always, I talk with him and I see, with you guys is that your program is so different than some of the traditional powers in this state. For example, I've even reached out to you about, the state of the program that you give, to a lot of the stakeholders in that area. So can you talk about how special the job is being the head coach there and what it means to you?
Right. So for me, it's so much more about community here, and I think a lot of the traditional programs are in a lot more urban areas, a lot more schools in their school system, and so they have that's a benefit and a challenge. And so we all have those things. And for us, I think the big thing is that we have so many folks who are very interested in our program, and so some of the neat things we do, some of the stuff we do from standpoint of the state of the program, from the way we meet with our kids, the way we, you go to Rotary meetings around here when things are normal. You're able to go to meet with, you speak in churches, and you're able to do things like that where the community is involved and they want to be involved and take on the program. I think is where most of that stems from, and what makes it a lot of fun. There are some people who they don't want to, teachers and coaches don't want to see their kids when they go to the grocery store. They want some time off, but I've never felt that way. I grew up in a one-county school down in Georgia, and a lot of the school systems where I grew up, Franklin County, Hart County, Stevens County, Elbert County. I'm saying those counties because that's what it was, one-county school system. So that's what I feel at home. I feel like it's important for us to be good. I feel like the community and the love, we got kids who have come up and want to be Raiders for a long time. They're not just saying, hey, I want to go shine on Friday so I can get a scholarship offer, even though we got plenty of guys who got them. It's more about, hey, I want to come out here and be a part of something and leave my legacy, my plaque on the wall at Richmond. Yeah, I want to put my name on the wall in college too, but I want to put my name on the wall in Richmond, and that that kind of that permeates everything, the sense of community and the sense of team in so many ways.
Do you have like a Raider wall? Just curious, like what is the criteria to get into that, Coach Till?
Well, so there's a lot of different things, Coach Griner, and I wish I could almost do like these colleges are doing a tour of the campus type deal. You can kind of see when you come in our double doors down there. First of all, you got all the state titles on the left hand side and all the regional, stuff on that side, and then you've got on the right side, you've got all the conference titles and then some special awards and recognitions for guys over the years. But then you come in, you take a left, you go down that hallway where my office is. We got banners up there of all the Shrine Bowl coaches, and we've included, because Richmond was consolidated in 1972. We've included all the guys who are from Hamlet, Rockingham, Ellerby, all that beforehand. All those names are up there, so it goes way back, right? And goes it's full two banners, almost two full banners of Shrine Bowl participants. Then we got two more banners of East-West guys, right? Full right there. You go in my office. Coach Ed Emery started doing plaques with pictures on them when he was the head coach. And we've got a couple from when Barnes was there, but they're a lot smaller. Ed set a standard one that we've been using, and those pictures are there. And they're all down the hallway too. So when you're looking at that, when I say on the wall, you're going to look at that and go, for instance, you look at the conference titles when you come in on the right. If there's a year missing, like you didn't win it, well, what happened right here? It's not, hey, look how the ones we won. They want to know, look, why didn't you win one here? What was going on? Who was part of that group? So when you go through and you see all that, and then you go in the weight room, guys who meet our different criteria, Iron Raiders, and et cetera, their pictures are on the wall, right? You got the 100% club in our team room, the 100% club, the guys who've been on the 100% club, that picture is up on the wall, right? And so when you look at all those things, those guys have left their mark in that building and in that football room down there, or football area down there.
Yeah, I think that's big time to have those type of accolades for them to reach, to try to get. Like, kids will run through a wall just for a sticker on their helmet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, Joshua said, you read the book of Joshua, he talks about when they come in to the land of Israel, and he starts talking about, hey, let's put a stone here, right? Put something down to set memory, so our children and their children. And when we talk about these things, there is a memory of it. There's a standard that was set for our entire, and in his situation, he's talking about our entire country to be, right? So that's something that has always been, something I thought the same thing. When I was at Terry Sample, we started some plaques up on the wall in my office there and in our team room. So I think that that is extremely important. If you're going to talk about history and heritage, you got to have something to point young people to what you're talking about and what that standard is.
I got you. I'm going to combine these two questions together, and you can kind of elaborate a little bit. It's getting close. I hope we're able to play. February is around the corner, brother. Right after Christmas, we get our best gift ever, get to play football. I just hope we get to be able to do it. Tell me a little bit about your team, who you got coming back, and how do you feel? Are you excited? I know you're excited type of guy, so how you feel?
Well, yeah, I'm excited type of guy. If I drink them Red Bulls like Bryce has, man, my freaking some of the guys on staff to my Campo, he loves to drink those energy drinks. My mom even said, hey, Coach, she said something to him afterwards, Campo, we need to cut down those energy drinks, so
I love
saying that, I am extremely excited. I'm excited about this group of guys. I'm excited about the chance to play. And I'm honestly, when you look, and you guys know this, and some people do, most people do at this point, I'm from Georgia originally. And I watched the schools in Georgia and in South Carolina have basically successful seasons throughout. All right. There have been some games. I know Oceanside, had to get canceled against Camden last week. Yeah. But for the most part, they've been able to complete the season, with very few interruptions. So I'm excited by that too, that there has been some success prior to North Carolina getting into the season, which gives us some hope. I'm excited that each, like you said, it don't take much for me. Each of the last 3 weeks, Pfizer, Moderna, and now AstraZeneca have all had positive vaccine trials. So I feel like even though the virus numbers are up, we've got so many positive things that show we can deal with it. We can learn to progress, that I get really excited. Now our team, a lot of guys coming back off of a very good football team. And like you said, the kids have made me excited by continuing to work.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know this game, you don't wake up and get good at football. You might have some gifts, but this game is about those guys who are willing to just work and work. You might score, like y'all talking about chunk plays. You might have one chunk play on one great guy, right? But if that other team can grind you and keep the ball away from you, keep the ball away from that guy, then he gets that one play doesn't matter. That's the game that I love. And so our kids have continued to do that for the most part. Like anybody else, we got guys who could do a better job, who we're worried about. And this situation makes us all worry about it a little bit. But, yeah, we're excited, very excited. And we got a lot of guys coming back who are going to be pretty dang good.
Well, Coach, it's a special edition of One's Got to Go. Sam, I know you don't eat meat, which is a tragedy in itself, but One's Got to Go Thanksgiving edition. Fried turkey? Hold on, I lost it. We'll just
smoked turkey.
Smoked turkey, fried turkey, or ham. One's got to go. Coach Till, why don't you lead us off?
Smoked turkey, fried turkey, or ham?
One's got to go.
On Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving.
See, that matters a little bit to me. Like, there's some things you just got to have Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I, even though traditionally smoked turkey I think fried turkey's better. So I'm going smoked turkey's got to go. That's me.
It's a good choice. Good choice. Grice?
It's got to be the ham. I mean, I love turkey on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving for me is all about the turkey. That's the MVP of the show. That's the MVP there. I don't care which way we have it. Like, I love turkey like I like to run stick on Friday night. So fried, smoked, however we want to have it, I got to have it. So take that ham out of there.
Yeah.
Now it's the meat hater.
Yeah, well, Thanksgiving starts with a T, so you got to keep the turkey no matter what. Ham, my wife makes a great ham for other people to eat, but this is not for me, man. The pork, that's just probably the worst type of meat to me. I just can't do it. Maybe back in the day, some country ham, a lot of salt on it, baby.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Now, when you start talking about some casseroles, we would have kept those in there, some broccoli casseroles and things of that nature. No doubt.
Those are good sides. Those shouldn't be your main question.
We're about to let you go, but I got to ask you a question. The Rocky III in the background, just love it, brother. You got to give me your famous quote, one of them from Rocky III that you just love. Like mine was "You ain't so bad, you ain't so bad." When he was they're gonna just thinking it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So my favorite, and hold on, let me do this right quick. So you guys got to see all this. Rocky II.
Oh yeah. Okay, you like Rocky IV then. If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, if he dies, he dies. I don't have 4. I don't have Rocky IV. I'm still looking for that one. But so for me, my favorite is kind of off the, but it's actually Mr. T instead of Rocky. And I love "You Ain't So Bad." He's in the ring getting punched in the head, saying "You ain't so bad." But one of my favorite ones is when Mr. T gets Rocky going, he stands up there, press run, says, hey, woman, come on over here and find your real man." Yeah. And Rocky loses it. He loses it. That's the best right there. He loses it.
All right, that's all.
You want it, you got it.
Good stuff.
Bit of the food.
You the man, brother. I'm just letting you know. I think you guys are the best team in the state, man. So we're gonna talk about that later. But I'm proud of what you're doing, and I know that we started off a little rocky a long time ago. But I'm inspired to talk to you, man. It's fun talking with you, and glad to have you on our show.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it, brother. Now we got the GOAT over here with 19 rings. Like, seriously, do you stop counting now?
Come on, man. I mean, really, to be honest with you, somebody asked me the other day, and I was like, I don't even know. Like, I don't know.
I believe it. All right.
Sorry, I was having difficulties. We took off Saturday morning. Like, I had to get out of town. So as you guys know, man, once you get through it,
yes,
you just got to change the scenery. And my kids took my AirPods. I was on my wife's. They weren't working. So I'm like, so now I'm in a room with nothing in the background but a light switch and a fan on the top. So I
turn the light switch on, baby. Let's go.
Backdrop. I'm on.
All right. Dale, you're up, brother.
Yeah. So this was kind of a unique season. Certainly in my life, I've never seen anything like this, and that's had to make this season for you much different. Thus, the question is, of all these rings that you have, fingers and toes, etc., what do you find special about this year's win?
Well, I mean, I think for me, it's really just about, the adversity that we had to go through and the ups and downs, and the extra hours on campus cleaning the locker room and doing things that we had to go over and above to make sure that we did not get caught in the wash on this thing. And we tried to do everything we could from our weight room stuff was changed in the summer and during the season because we can only have so many kids in there, and we asked a lot more of our kids and a lot more of our coaching staff and our extension of our staff that does what we do. And it was challenging. And it was, like I said last week when we were on here, to get a phone call on a Thursday night that your game is canceled the next day, nothing was guaranteed. And I hope our public schools can play. I think that we did a pretty good job of whatever we did and to make it work. But I just think in general, just the challenge of every day was unique for sure.
Once again, congratulations, Coach, on winning another state championship. There's been some controversy about the selection process for the private school playoffs, like Christ School not getting in D1 this year. What do you think should be done, and how should they fix it for next year?
That's a good question, and I know that we touched on this subject a week ago. We got to figure something out, and I got to be careful how I say certain things. I'm not in favor of these schools reclassing kids. I just don't think it's a good look, and I think that it's a bad taste in the mouth for every other public school in North Carolina when you're trying to get games. And I just wish we wouldn't do all that stuff. And I just wish we'd just play ball and, be the 8 semesters that everybody else is. And I, obviously I don't have any pull to pull that off, but the whole process, like, Raven Gap, for example, had 45 guys on their roster. Well, 28 of them were new this year. So, I don't know. As I prepare for next season, I don't know who Christ School is going to be and who Raven Gap's going to be. I know who Charlotte Christian is going to be, and I have a pretty good idea who Country Day is going to be. So I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is for those schools that are not in Charlotte. But, there obviously can be a cleaner process, and we got to figure that out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, my friend. And it just shows you, like, no matter what adversity you guys face, you overcome it. You lost to Providence Day earlier in the year, and I think you rallied the troops, and everybody played really great the second time you played them and beat them in the championship game. You didn't get to see them in the state championship run, but you beat the team that they lost to. I would like to know one thing. What did you run your bear front versus Raven Gap? Tell me a little bit about the front you did. I thought that was important.
Yeah, so we had to mix some stuff up, and you guys probably saw. I mean, we were outmanned. We knew we were outmanned size wise, and we were having some problems. I mean, even committing 5 and 6 guys down there in the line of scrimmage caused some issues, and their running backs ran hard. One of the things I think was a positive for us is he was 3 for 11 in the passing game, and even the shots that he did try to take, that our guys did a good job of staying home, but. We had to do some different things up front. We had to try to get some pressure. We had to try to, run some run blitzes, and we ran some stunts up front. So it wasn't just sometimes just being in a 5 or 6 man front, Coach. I mean, we actually had to run some twist games and get some things going up there to confuse them a little bit more, because if it would have just came down to them against us, they would have mauled us.
Yeah. So I completely agree with you. I mean, even when I went against Scotland County a few years ago, they had the most massive offensive line I've ever seen in my entire life, and they ran spread. And everybody's like, "You can run your 3-man front." I was like, "Heck no! I'm running a 62 versus it." And they're like, "Right, you run a 62." I don't want to die a slow death. So you got to do what you got to do to win the game. You got to make sure that you make them do something, and then if it's 3rd and 8, that they're probably going to throw the ball, and then you can get into more of your base defense. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Thanksgiving week, my brother.
Yep.
All right. What do you look forward to eating the most?
Well, I heard that question that y'all talked about before. I wish I could say I don't eat meat, Coach, because I'd like to look like you.
You're a stud, brother.
But I do look forward to a fried turkey. We've done both. I grew up in Southern Ohio, so there's some Southern things that are introduced to us growing up. But the traditional oven turkey was something that we grew up on. But man, once you have a fried turkey, I'm not so sure you can do anything else.
No doubt. Fried turkey. I'm believing that I might have to love fried turkey myself. Sorry. All right. So I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
Talk about next season. I know you don't even want to think about next season. You said you know what's coming back.
Yeah.
You like what's coming back, and you think you can make it 5 in a row. I know this is hard to say, but I think to beat the king, you got to beat the king, and you guys are definitely the king. And you could beat public schools. It doesn't matter. You guys play everybody.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. We can't replace 21. That's just it's part of the deal. And he's a special one. We have some good young backs coming up that are going to be a sophomore and a junior that I'm excited about. Our JV guys pretty much got their season stolen from them this year because we couldn't find JV games. We typically have to play the majority public school JV schedule, and obviously that couldn't happen, whether it's North Carolina or South Carolina. But we lose 17 seniors, a lot of guys that we can't replace, including 21. But I will say that our juniors that our 22 guys that are coming back played a huge role for us this year, and our 23 class could be potentially as talented as we've had in a long time. Those kids, they were undefeated in middle school. Only lost one game in JVs the last 2 years to Valor Christian out of Colorado, and they hung in there pretty good against a team that was primarily juniors and sophomores. So, I'm looking forward to the group that we have coming back. So it'll be good. You know how it is. It's hard, like when you're not even a week removed, to try to think about, man, how do we replace our running back or our center. Or a marked linebacker, whatever it is. And we got to figure that out. And we will. But it's going to be hard to replace those guys.
No doubt.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned earlier that one of the things about this season, you guys had to do so much to prepare each day just to fight the virus. And you guys seem to have done maybe the best job of that. My question to you is, do you think there's anything that you guys did that you can share with the public schools?
Well, I think that, one of the things that, our medical people took care of everything. And I would say from a school administration standpoint, we had a really good plan going in. And part of that plan was if somebody, was potential positive, needed to get tested, we weren't shutting the place down. And we didn't get scared. We're not going to live in fear. That's not what our campus is going to do. We're going to hit this thing head on. And, from our school nurse to our principals and our administration, we just had a really solid plan. And I think that everybody had to know what their role was as far as the screening process. And our parents did a really good job of tightening our circles, I think. I know that's probably an overused term right now, but one of the things, and I know Coach Griner would say this too, like there's certain things that you probably say at the end of every practice as you prepare for the next day. But one of the things I continue to say was, hey, keep your circle tight. Keep your circle tight. Don't get outside of this thing. Think about the guy next to you versus just you. And our kids did a really good job of that. And I was proud of them for that. So, our campus is unique. Now we're a JK through 12 campus. So you're talking about a lot of moving parts there. It wasn't just 9 through 12, so you have most of our families are not football families, and they're not upper school, high school athletic department kids. So, there's a lot of kids on our campus that cross over and eating in the cafeteria. So, from our cleaning people to everybody that had a role in this that are probably, not talked about, everybody just did a really good job.
Yeah, I love how you said, you don't live in fear. I tell everybody that. They're like, I joke around about like I don't eat meat, I can't get the virus, but I just don't live in fear. I'm cautious. I make sure I do what I'm supposed to do. But like the Rocky movie, Rocky IV, if they die, I'm just like I'm gonna attack this. I'm not gonna sit back and let this world take me over a COVID virus. It's not going to
No
affect my family. Just to get a little bit questions going with you, man. My wife, okay, I'm probably gonna get in trouble. Hopefully, she ain't watching this. But my wife could care less about me coaching football. Like she's been to like 3 games my entire career. Even when I played football, she never came to it. And a lot of coaches have coaches' wives that they love. They're at every game. They have like their little decorative outfits, and they're always there rooting and hollering and know the game. My wife literally doesn't love me for football. How does your wife? I know that y'all are on vacation now. Does she say I'm at every game and you guys go on a vacation afterwards? But tell me a little bit about your situation.
Yeah, well, I think that if my wife is not as supportive as she is, I wouldn't be able to pull off what I do. And she is definitely a coach's wife who understands my calling and is there every game. I've got 2 boys that play. One's a current sophomore, one's a 7th grader that are both going to play in our program, and it's important to them. But my wife is a rock star, man. When she knows when phone calls are coming at night or on the weekend. When we're in it, and she understands that, and we have a really good relationship as far as how we parent, especially seasonally during different times of the year for us. And she's awesome. She would not miss a game. Coach, I'll tell you, it killed her not to be able to go to games on the road this year, even as a parent or as a coach's wife. It was just it crushed her not be able to be there.
I figured that might be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Coach Estep, thanks for coming on. Where are you going to put this ring because your fingers are tied up?
Boat anchors.
Yeah. What rings? Which finger did you size?
You got to go to the toes now.
Well, I don't even know, to be honest with you. I haven't done that yet. Hey, here's what I know. It's going to go in a box in my office, and we'll cherish the championship that we have with this group. But our focus. I've got a lot more things to do with this senior class. I got to find some guys that play some play, moving next year and get ready for the next one. So it'll be a keepsake in my office, and people can look at it. There you go.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, congratulations, man. I'm sure I'll see you at a basketball game somewhere down the line. Good luck to you.
I appreciate you guys, man. Have a good Thanksgiving.
All right, man. Take care.
Brother.
All right, see y'all.
People ask me this week, where does Coach Estep rank in the all-time Mecklenburg County annals? And I would say right at the top, right, just below Tom Knotts. I mean, you got to put him there. I mean, he wins and wins and wins and wins and wins. And no matter who comes against him, he wins. Mallard Creek's best team in 2015, he had them on the ropes at Memorial Stadium. I mean, in the second half.
You've never heard about the kudos to him. You never heard about Charlotte Christian recruiting. In public schools, we're always worried about some private schools. Yeah. They have their own guys. They have a system, and like I said, they play the Catholics of the world and beat them. The Catholics beaten them too before, but like they are really, really well coached. And like he says, I think they have a different identity with their program. Like, they're Charlotte Christian. They're a Christian organization, and they go by those morals. And I think it helps their team out. I really do, because they believe in something higher than that, and it keeps them together.
Well, it's time for our – go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say Country Day plays Catholic every season.
Yes. They used to. They haven't played the last 2 years, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Cook Cup. And then Providence Day has also played some of the publics, but not as much. Just I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's hard for them to get games with the CMS schools because of the rule that they can't have a regular season game. It has to be some type of a tournament. But I would like to see Shelby play a Christian, some of the smaller powerhouses. I'd love to see that. Love to see that. But now it's time for our favorite segment. We got to go to How About Him. Gary has good news this week.
Hey, Gary. Wearing a shirt. Wow.
Oh, this whole thing? I just kind of ran around. Got a win for the first time in the month yesterday. Played well, good sound football. Only 1 turnover. Not a whole lot of missed tackles. Got lined up right. And Ezekiel Elliott made an appearance. Amari Cooper made an appearance. All these big time stars. But I think what really was the difference is they had some stability on the offensive line and made a few changes, moved a few people around. They kept the pocket clean for Andy Dalton, and Zeke was able to eat. And
can I ask you a question? What is Dallas's record?
3-7.
And you guys are in first place.
Tied for first.
If the Panthers win your division, we be in first place.
Yeah.
Wow.
My 49ers are in last place. If my 49ers were in your division, we have a 4-game lead.
but I'm gonna tell you what, the Giants are the team that scared me. They are the ones that are making steady improvement. The Giants are. So look out for the Giants.
I like that quarterback from Charlotte, Daniel Jones. Boy, got some wheels on him.
If he quits turning the ball over,
yeah.
Well,
All right, Grace, you ready?
Oh, you know it, baby.
All right, we're gonna let me find Grace's theme music, and we're gonna find out who were the best players of the last week of the season.
Mm-hmm. All right, we are dominated this week by South Carolina guys, man. A lot of surprising results to me in the South Carolina playoffs, and we got to highlight some guys on my favorite segment of this show, Grice's Gems. First guy we've got is Quentin Jackson. He had 2 receiving scores for a total of 2 touchdowns in a 41-21 win over Irmo in the second round of the South Carolina high school playoffs. Yes, Irmo coached by former Vance head coach Aaron Brand. This second year, Copperhead's team has been good under Zach Lindak, and I think Quentin Jackson's been a big piece of that. Lost their star quarterback, earlier in the year. We all know about it. About him. Used to be a Providence Day, but they've won 7 straight games and are 7-1 after that first loss to South Point. Bryan, when you see a receiver like that on defense, you got to have all eyes on him, right?
Yeah, you definitely you thinking about shadowing him with the safety at all times, and then trying to get in his face and slowing him down because he looks like he's a great route runner, and if he gets behind you, so
look at that. Ooh.
Yeah,
like I said,
That's
Coach Lindak
nice
did a great job moving him around the formation, and it's a big reason why they're successful. But I got to admit, this was a surprise to me. When I saw that score Friday, I thought for sure Aaron Brand was going to run his magic. So definitely was interesting to see them, take this an hour in the state final week, right?
I told you first of the season, didn't I?
You told us they were going to be tough. So again, like you said, you see people why they were successful. Let's go here. Here's a familiar name, Whit Muschamp. Yes, that Muschamp. Will Muschamp's son, freshman quarterback, was 10 of 18 passing this past week for 120 yards and a touchdown to Cam Scott. Hammond actually beat Lawrence Manning 26-6 to win their 4th straight state championship and 18th overall. When we talk about Christian in North Carolina, this is the South Carolina equivalent in their, I think it's their Division III of the state private school championship. Coach Eric Kimmery, this is his 12th state title. And again, Hammond, this isn't a fly-by-night team. They lost 21 starters from last year's state championship team and made it. And this quarterback, Coach Muschamp's son, is a big reason why down in Columbia. And when you see, again, we talked about Tyler Green of the Cabarrus Warriors. You see a tough kid like this who shows he not only can throw it, but he's some tough running there to score.
Yeah, I've met this kid actually before, and he is a tough kid. Like it's written all over him. He's got that little man syndrome type aspect. Like you saw how you just got in the end zone. The dude doesn't know that he's a freshman. No, someone alert, you're a freshman. He doesn't. I don't think so.
And like we say this time of year, man, you're sophomores at this point. But let's move forward again. Matt Pack from AC Floor in the upper state semifinals against South Point down there in Rock Hill. Pack ran for 281 yards in that win, and now they are in the upper state final for the first time in 6 years. So again, this was a big win for Florida. I got to admit, I know we don't have the score here, but I know it was a lot to a little bit there. And Florida is traditionally a powerhouse, but to do that to a Rock Hill South Point, not too many teams are out here beating them by that type of margin. Ronnie, what do you think about this kid, man? Especially with Florida, the way they run the ball. It looks like Raven Gap highlights almost.
Yeah, that kid right there can move, and he drops his shoulders really, really well. It's like he's taking off like an airplane. When it's time to burst and when it's time to be physical, he knows what to do. Like that, you can put your whole team around a guy like that and build off of it, seriously.
He starts to answer why some of these teams are doing so well. But, yeah, this answers those questions about, you see AC Florida. You wonder why those score margins were so big this past week against South Point. But already running back there, and like I said, some great plays. You can see they build their offense around him.
What a play.
Let's move forward. I mean, we've already had this guy on Fresh Faces. This is a guy as a Clemson commit. I mean, we know Tommy Knox is, the GOATs in this area. No surprise why, his guy is being successful here. And we know Dutch Fork again, advancing to the lower state championship game for a 63-42 win over Carolina Forest. They've been putting up points all playoffs. There's no surprising here. Will Taylor rushed for 225 yards, 5 touchdowns, and threw for 131 in the touchdown. I mean, this kid's amazing. Silver Foxes actually will host Sumter next week in the Class 5A lower state championship. And, of course, they're going for their 5th straight state championship. I think Tommy Knox is done with hands and toes, and I think he's given, his wife or, lady, some of these rings to hold and put his neck because at this point he doesn't have hands or feet anymore with as many as he's winning. But, Grant, you've seen this guy, man. This guy is amazing. What are your thoughts, as we talked about how great he is enough?
That kid, I watched this kid live when we were at the South Point game, and you're talking about a kid that really understands the game, like his mental aspect. I mean, I heard what he was talking to Tommy, and I was so impressed. Like, he's very precision in what he does. He's not a very big guy. Dude's going to Clemson actually on baseball scholarship money and be able to play football, I think, as well. So that shows you how much of an athlete he is to be able to do all of that. And, I mean, he's just a great leader. You can tell it. And the team today, Carolina Forest, I mean, they dominated in the game, and they still scored them,
And again, to finish up the Grice's Gems with the recognizable names, Chip Casey, yes, that Casey, former Carolina Panthers kicker, and actually Christian AD, John Casey. He had 2 picks, including the interception that ended the game against Raven Gap in the closing minutes. I love my offensive guys, but when I see a defensive guy really shut down and making those type of plays, he's got to be a Grice's Gem. So, Christian, a big reason why they hit their 4th straight state title is because of Chip Casey out there on the end. Griner, it's a defensive guy. Got to let you show him love. What do you like about him? I know you've seen him a couple times already this year.
I like how he runs lane 1 and lane 2 when he knows to go up there and hit a smoke receiver. If anybody's doing a now throw, he's really good at understanding his angle and making the tackle. Like, I know he's gotten the interceptions and stuff, but the way he positions himself to make the tackles and running his lane and trusting it, that's something that's hard to teach at DB, and that's the one loss to art form a lot of times.
I agree, man. This was, like I said, some great stuff. Again, I guess, Langston, we're doing this in the spring, right? I'm sure you're going to get hate mail, and I'm going to get hate mail if you don't. So,
I'm absolutely going to get hate mail.
Hey, as we get to the public, get to the public schools playing, guys, you see my Twitter name there, at Coach Jay Grice. I mean, you grind, you get to shine. So let us know when you have big games. Send it to us and let us know, and you can be part of Grice's Gym. So we had a heck of a private school season with the Grice's Gyms. These 2 guys below us have been former Grice's Gyms alumni for their great game. So hopefully we'll get some new guys this season.
Yeah, we got 2 of the 3 candidates for the High School Heisman. Russell Tabor from Charlotte Country Day, AJ Simpkins from High School. Simpkins, you know that man above you a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about Coach Grice. What's he really like? Tell us about Coach Grice.
Great dude, great coach. Loved playing under him. It was always fun, We ran the same kind of offenses that we both liked running, and it just clicked,
Does he know what he's doing?
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He can't get at you through TV, man.
I was about to say, why y'all doing this with me above him? You already know you're get these. Yeah.
You in Arden, man. He can't get at you.
Behind the scenes, Grice takes all the credit from you. Like, he says that he did everything to do it.
Yeah. I think you're barely from Charlotte Christian. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
You got 4 of those things, right?
Yes, sir.
2 on each hand, or just all 4 on one hand?
Just all 4 on one hand.
All 4 on one hand, like Thanos.
12 in the club.
Right, he's got to get the gauntlet, man, to hold it up, just to put it in there with all the stones.
All right, well, my crack staff put together a little video for you guys. We're gonna drop it right here.
we've been doing this show for a while, and we got coach versus coach. We got all these different things, and our intro has never been that good. That intro was legit.
We gotta get the guys to improve on y'all's intro for in the fall when we come back. Man, I want to say it was a joy covering you guys this year. It was a lot of fun. AJ, I got to talk to your dad at the beginning of the season. We did a big story about you moving, and Russ, I've known you since you were knee high to a tadpole, and Henry, I've been watching you, just appreciating how we've been talking to Raven about how fast you are on the show every week. I mean, it's just really, really been fun covering you guys. I will say that. I was so glad you guys could get the season in during the pandemic. Each one of you guys had amazing seasons. I'm glad I didn't have to pick one. It's on Coach Griner to have to pick one. And we argued trying to get down to a finalist. Tell him, Coach Grice, it was tough.
Oh, it was. And I mean, I think, each of you guys had your moments. I mean, like from, Henry, it was, you're looking at the big time games, you had your biggest games when the lights were the brightest. I think that was, one of the best things to see. Russell, people forget week 1, you guys had Christian on the ropes. You guys had the ball in the red zone. I was there watching it. You had the opportunity. And the big reason why you came back was because of how you played, and you proceeded to get better and better over the year, and was a guy that was always in there. And then AJ, I mean, I think you came along strong, and then because of the kind of COVID issues and teams not really playing each other, I think your stats against Raven Gap earlier in the season started to hold a lot more weight whenever we started to see how good this team was, how they played. And then your finish, against Harold Christian, I think was one of the better performances of the year too. So, I mean, all three of you guys, should be, commended. All three of you guys should be proud of how you've done. I've seen two of you guys, since you were kids. I remember you, Henry, you played for the South Charlotte Patriots, and you still had that burst back in the day under Coach Glosson. So, I've seen you guys for a long time. So I'm not surprised that you guys are having fantastic seasons and are in this position, but man, I mean, this was how our arguments went. I think I called Griner an idiot once or twice sometimes, man. But,
normally at the Heisman Award, you guys have to come on stage and make a speech. So we're going to put Russell on the spot first. Russell, tell us a little bit about your season, what you're going to remember the most.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I'm really appreciative of all the coverage y'all had for private school this year. It was just really great to see all that. Definitely really nice still being able to have the season, even through the pandemic. And, obviously it didn't end up the way we wanted to, but, have some memories out there on the field that will last me my entire life. Just really enjoyed playing with all my seniors and then, all the underclassmen. Just really fun year.
All right, Henry, what about you?
I mean, this season's been really memorable. I'm gonna miss all my guys, all the seniors that have been with me since 8th grade. My quarterback Matthew, he's tough. I'm gonna just miss playing Russell. I've been playing him since 8th grade, and I mean, I was mad for them when they weren't able to play us in the playoffs. But yeah, I'm gonna miss you. I can't wait to see where you go because you're a great player. And
all right, AJ, tell us about life up in Arden, North Carolina, winning the first state championship ever in school history.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, I'll remember this for a very long time. I mean, being a part of being the first state championship in school history it's something really special. And I'll remember that forever. And especially remembering, we almost didn't even have a season to begin with. So just going through all the hardships that we had to go through to even be able to play and then be able to carry that all the way through to a state championship. Just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bigger accomplishment even than the Heisman that we're giving out, to be able to win your first one for your school. I mean, because they lost, 10 in a row or not in a row?
Yeah, they lost 10 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome. You were the guy that came over the hump. Grice done groomed you. Grice is
and your mom said we had the stats wrong. That you on Max Preps it said 1,500 yards. She said you had 1,800 yards. So you had
we're still trying to work out.
And then in the state, what do you do in the state final? 12 out of 14 for 270 something.
Yeah, 12 of 14, 270 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Wow, that's
pretty easy to have Power Apples out there, huh? Like, that's wow. There we go.
You guys got to get your coaches to update these stats on Max Preps. That's one thing. I, as a reporter, I just wish we had. All right, before we have Sam do the magic, we want to bring in everybody on the staff that put in all the work all season It made my life easy. And there's Dale. And Sam, I'm going to put you in the one shot, and you can tell us your thoughts and who's going to win the first talking press.
Yeah, well, all three of these guys deserve it. You're on the show for a reason. You're special. You made your team better. You're the MVPs of your team. You've dominated throughout the entire year, and two of you got state championships. I even watched, Russell Tabor against Providence Day, and I was so impressed with the way you played, the way you led your team, and you tried to rally them back, and then you were trucking guys to get first downs. Like, you wanted the ball in your hands. You had that Michael Jordan effect. And then AJ to win your first state championship. I mean, that for school history, that's amazing. Really is. The one guy that passed the eye test, like from day one, that I think you're a special player that we're going to see for a long, long time, and you really are having Heisman moments, was Henry Rutledge, and you are our Heisman, Henry. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you so much.
All of them.
I appreciate it.
You really dominated this year, and every time you touched the ball, it was a scary thing for the other team. Like, everybody was fearful. Then all of a sudden, let's go out here, and after you score, what do you have to go do? You have to go kick the ball off, and you ain't back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look at your old golden leg over here. When did you kick? You don't do field goals though, do you? You just do
No. I just do kickoffs and punts. So.
And punt. Oh yeah, that's dangerous. Yeah, automatic fake at any time if he sees it.
All right. Before we continue on with Henry, we want to say thanks, Russell and AJ, for coming on. You guys have phenomenal seasons. Please let us know how your career goes on. Russell, let us know where you're going to college. AJ, great. Good luck next year. Hopefully you can get back to the state championship game again.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
See you, AJ. See you.
Right. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good job. Yeah, phenomenal year from them guys. Henry,
Absolutely.
Heisman Henry over here.
Heisman Henry. Well, we were going to put together like a highlight video for you, Henry, but you already did one better than we could do.
Right. I was about to say, that was awesome.
So we're going to drop it.
Who's winning the race for private school Heisman?
It's Henry. Henry Rutledge. Is that how you say his last name? Rutledge?
Yes.
You talking about a guy that touches the football and makes a huge difference anytime he touches it in the kickoff return game, in the punt return game. Anytime he touches it, he can go 90 yards, 60 yards, 50 yards. He is special. I didn't know how good he was until I saw him in person, and that kid is dangerous.
We came to play. We came to play. I'm on the way. We came to stay. I'm on the way. This ain't a game. I put my team on. Let's get it. They see the team strong. We in it. I feel like King Kong in the field. I used to play a game. I was winning. Laughing joke, but I don't play. Fairly broke. There's not a game.
He is the fastest player in private school. My man is DK Metcalf in high school football.
Minivan, yeah. Ice cream man when I slap you. But I ain't sugarcoat nothing when I find you, yeah. I'm Marshawn Lynch in my interview. I'm about to run through about 10 of you, yeah. This way that way and finish you. Lowercase T, how I get to you.
This guy is one of the most all-around players. We got the man here. Again, this guy does not stop.
He is, without question, the most explosive.
We came to play, we came to play, I'm on the way, we came to stay, I'm on the way, this ain't a game, I put my team on, let's get it, they see the team strong, we in it.
His quickness is elite. If he gets just 2 or 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, he can go to the house. You have to be able to get him before he breaks the line of scrimmage, or he's gone.
I put my team on, let's get it, they see the team strong, we in it, I feel like King Kong in the building.
My goodness, you can get so many Twitter followers after that. The little Twitter thing coming at the end, boy, you're gonna be blessed.
My dad actually made that video.
Who did?
My dad actually made that video.
That was tight, man. We played that a couple weeks
he took
ago.
some. Yeah, I remember.
You did
that.
a great job.
You had the best analyst on it first, so that was smart. And then
I gotta ask you though, man, what is like the one play from the season you think you'll remember most? Like just one play that kind of encompasses everything for you this year.
The one play, I would probably say at Providence Day, the second game, we were down like 24-17, and it was like third and like 10, and they just gave me a draw play, and there was like a huge hole, and my receivers were blocking down the field. I think Hudson Collins was he was just on his man, and I was just able to break it to the outside and run down the sideline and score, and that changed the momentum. So that was like probably the most memorable play I have.
Yeah. Well, it seems like every game we went to, you had a memorable play. I was always like this big, long 92-yard. Like Friday night, you guys are basically trying to run the clock out into the first half. You go 92 yards, two touchdown lead. I mean, every game there was something like that. When those plays happen, does it happen for you in slow motion? How does that go for you?
Oh yeah. It happens in real slow motion, and afterwards, I didn't even know what happened. I was just like, oh, we scored. So I was like,
we scored.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Hey.
Pretty amazing.
Oh, we scored. Oh yeah. Wow, that happened. Where am I at? Oh, I'm in the end zone. Okay.
Well, like I said,
I have to keep watching the videos over and over after the game to like actually know what happened.
I did that. I juked that guy. Wow.
Well, man, we had a ball covering you this year. Congratulations on winning the first high school Heisman. Hopefully we get to follow your career as you move forward.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Take care.
Thank you so much.
See you, brother.
See you.
Henry Rutledge, our first high school Heisman winner. So you guys see how we do it. So public school guys come to fall, we're gonna be doing the same thing.
Spring.
That highlight video.
Spring. Thank you. Spring. Thank you. Come February. we're gonna put out the watch list.
Winter. Late winter.
Now from across the world, all the way from where's Chris? Abu Dhabi. We got a special edition of Chris's Corner.
I want to see a special edition Chris's Corner.
Here we go. Well, if I hit the button.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this final fall wrap-up edition of Chris's Corner here on Talking Preps. Guys, it seems like it's been weeks since I've had an opportunity to be on with you. As many of you know, I've been abroad over here in the Middle East doing some work. So I hate that I've missed you guys over the past several weeks. But it is just phenomenal to be back on here with you guys for this final fall episode of Talking Preps here at the Charlotte Observer, and my whole team of Sam and Dell and Gary and Langston and Kinsey and Coach Grice and just everybody here. I know you guys have really done a tremendous job with this 2020 prep season, and talk about just some crazy things. Obviously the pandemic, having no traditional public school, just me not being there. I mean, who would have ever thought that I'd missed out on a high school football season? But then again, here we are. I'm in the Middle East and unable to be there with you guys, and just the realignment and everything that's come about, the shaking the state up west and east, and going back to 4 equal classifications. I just think this is a really exciting time for the state, and also a time of just some unknowns. But anyway, I wanted to make this Chris's Corner quick. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's trust me, it's hard for me not to be on here with you guys each and every week, but to have this opportunity to get on here, especially right here before the holidays, to wish everybody the best and to get on and kind of check in with my people. This is tremendous. It warms my heart. I look forward to seeing you guys here really soon. And hey, keep on getting on, and we'll try to be on here more often. Take care.
That was pretty awesome, wasn't it?
That was.
Yeah.
Are you crying?
Say what?
You crying?
Yeah, a little bit. I miss the guy. He's a good dude. He's got a special heart, and he loves kids. Like, he does a lot of stuff for free. Him, Dale, those guys that really like get after it for prep sports. I mean, they don't get paid for this stuff. I mean, they literally make no money doing it. They do everything they can to support these young prep athletes, and they do a phenomenal job. And so wish him the best. So Kinsey time, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you ready for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I'm out of town. So
you are out of town right now?
Yeah, I'm in my grandma's house.
Oh, that's great times. Where does grandma live?
So right now I'm in Kansas City, but my other grandma lives in Arkansas. So we're driving back to Arkansas after the show tonight.
That's pretty cool. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah. On your last Kinsey time of the fall, what did you do? Talk to me.
Well, we haven't talked to Mr. Pick Six over there at Catawba Ridge, Jacoby Henderson, man. Go off.
That kid is good. All right, let's check it out. Roll the tape. Let me see.
Today we're here with Jacoby Henderson, a.k.a. Mr. Pick Six. Congratulations on your big win last night. First of all, this wasn't planned, but how did that pick six feel in the moment?
I mean, it felt amazing. That was my first pick six this season, and I was just like, as soon as I get it, I got to take off, and that's what I did.
Yeah. And you and your team have had a wide range of success this year, and that included winning your first playoff game, and then you built on that success and won one last night. How do you plan to keep building on that success this year and then in the future?
We just always work hard. So as long as we're working hard, the success is going to come itself.
And you play both wide receiver and cornerback, and those positions can often go against each other. How has playing on both sides of the ball increased your football knowledge and helped you with your success?
You kind of like know what to expect. So with me playing corner and receiver, I know what the receiver wants to do, and with me playing corner, I know what corners want to do. So it just boosts my game up a lot.
Now, Jacoby, we recently introduced a speed round where you have 1 minute to answer as many questions about yourself as possible. So I'm going to start the timer, and we'll get right into that. You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your favorite movie?
Little Giants.
Favorite TV show?
Martin.
Favorite food?
Tacos.
Favorite color?
Green.
If you were a superhero, which one would you be?
Superman.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Bora Bora.
Congratulations, Jacoby. Best of luck this year and next. I wish you have a lot of success.
Thank you.
My dude's quick with the questions too. Like he's like,
I might like to go to ball.
I might like to go to Bora Bora though.
I would too. That would be nice.
I could do a little bit of that.
So the video's not playing for me, Langston.
Sorry?
Every video that's come up has been choppy. So I don't know how this works.
What do you mean? Like doing that.
Like, hopefully we won't have him in Grice's favorite segment, Fresh Faces. All right, Kinsey, we got Brock Beastick out of Cardinal Gibbons in Raleigh. We got some Raleigh kids this week.
Raleigh, man, I might have yelled a little bit when I saw this guy's highlights. He likes to put some guys on skates. Man, he can run some routes. Just watch this one right here. This kid, poor kid, he ain't getting nothing. He just needs to get off the field and go home. Look at this route. But yeah, the route's insane. The jukes. This kid's got it all. Great vision. Did you see that?
Yes. Well, he had up 1,000 all-purpose yards. It says there the kid can go. Raleigh Cardinal Gibbons has been a really good team for a while. They're kind of like the Charlotte Catholic of Wake County. They win a lot. They're really disciplined. They run their stuff. And Sam, you don't want to play this team if you ever get to a state final.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Talk about that later.
Got the Notre Dame looking uniforms on. That's a good look. There. That's a good look. All right, we got Jake Young out of Marvin Ridgedale.
Yeah, 6'3", 205 pounds. He's a rising junior, plays with his hands in the dirt. He's also a baseball player. Things I saw that I liked about him was his vision. Defensive player needs to have good vision, and he always finds his way to the play. You can see backside, front side. Here you see him chase down. Boom. There he is.
I'd be really upset as a defense coordinator if they get him 30 yards down.
Well, he puts good pressure on the quarterback.
Nice play there.
Yeah, nice. That's definitely nice. Everybody in the whole world is going to be trying to make those DK Metcalf tackles, though, on like the long runs now because it looks so good and everybody talked about it.
And this one here, I thought, man, just give it a little bit more, he would have got him.
Mm-hmm.
good
But
player.
All right, we got
he
Jack
is.
Goodman of Wake Forest, Grace.
All right, Coach Reggie
yeah.
Lucas is, one of the best, one of the best out of that area. And again, got him a trigger man here, 6'4", 180, 2021 kid here. He's a traditional pocket passer. We know in their offense, they don't ask the quarterback to do a lot throwing the ball down the field, but this guy shows you if need be, he can make this throw. This is one of his, best throws here. You're talking about a 35, 40-yard throw, rhythm throw right off his back foot. So, you look at, this type of offense. Whenever Wake Forest does well, it's when they've got a guy that can really push this ball down the field. I think this guy will be that this year for them. So, if they have a lot of success, it's going to depend on him.
I saw that play against Vance in the state championship game, that little reverse they just ran.
Yeah, I love that play.
You always love this. Hey, you're going to play on these running offenses, you better get a good block here. Look at that pancake by the quarterback. Got to love it.
Right.
Yeah, they're a sound football team. That's one of winning multiple state championships, though. Versus
3 in a row.
Yeah, they broke some Charlotte hearts, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But again, that's this type of offense again, and it's funny. The thing I always point out 2 years ago is they won the Blazing 7-on-7 tournament. So it's always you can throw it.
All right, we got a Providence kid, Highland Stallings, with a big old arm, Gary.
Yeah, very accurate, 6'1" kid out at Providence in South Charlotte. Throws the ball well on the move, throws it from the pocket. You see right there, he's hitting the crossing route, which is a hard route to throw because you got to lead the receiver away from the DB. You can see here, drop back. He's very agile, athletic, big arm.
Platform, baby.
A lot about him this season, especially with Drake May opting out. Now everybody wants to see, okay, who's the next big thing? This kid could be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely nice.
Got good pocket presence.
Good pocket presence.
Yes, sir.
That's a good ball there. What you think, Rice?
Oh, no, it's good quarterback. Yeah, the biggest thing I like to see is can you throw on the move? You saw that weak side throw earlier. A lot of these teams, he's playing a lot of these highlights. Look at that. That's when a guy's going to tattoo you. You still hang in the pocket and make a throw, man. That's got some good ball here. Another off platform to the weak side. That's always the thing. You can always throw to the side. Your arm is going away. It's always tougher.
All right, Sam, we got a big old horse for you, Kendall Stanley out of Rocky River.
That's right, 6'5", 290. Daggone bookie. That's what you want, those 6'5", 290s. But a lot of the highlights, I was like trying to find them. And I was like, oh, okay, just find the guy that's like mauling everybody. And I was like, okay, there he is. But like his highlights have like a circle around the whole offensive line, so he must be a real good team player, trying to like represent his whole team. But he's doing a really, really good job. Big guy. And I tell you what, their head coach, their mentality of their head coach, they're going to be good in the trenches, on defense, on offense. Trenches, they're going to be really, really good. And, he's probably the leader of that offensive line. 6'5", 290, you can't beat that.
No, you absolutely cannot. I love the uniforms on Rocky River, too. I love the browns and the grays. You don't see that every day, and it's just nice to see a little something different. And that's a big old boy. I mean,
no, we scrimmaged him last year, and I mean, he was tough to handle back there. We always got to remember against Malik Creek. I mean, they had them on the ropes early in that first half, and I mean, running the ball was a big part of that. I mean, that guy showed them why.
Cleveland Browns was the motivation for that.
Absolutely.
About that.
All right. This is the last show of the fall season, so we can't have gloom and doom for the last show of the fall season. we can't do it. So
we need like a wrestling intro.
Warning, Gary, Dale, and Kinsey. No gloom, no doom. Here we go.
Well, guys, the first thing they said is no gloom and doom. And what happens? We got a COVID question.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
This weekend, Florida State and Clemson was supposed to play, and Saturday morning, one of the Clemson players came back with a positive test. The two medical staffs from Clemson and Florida State met. Florida State decided they didn't feel safe about it, and they weren't going to play. The ACC hasn't decided what they're going to do yet, and Dabo got pretty upset about it, especially in the last day or so. He didn't say anything on Saturday, but I think as he thought about it, he believes that Florida State just didn't want to play simply because the kid had been testing negative all week, and then he got the positive results on Saturday. What do you think? Was Dabo right, or was Florida State right? Kenzie, you go first.
I think Florida State was right. I mean, he tested positive, but he was just on a plane with all his teammates, so you don't know who has it. And the contact tracing, how fast can you do the contact tracing? I mean, I don't think Dabo is right. I mean, Florida State made the right call because, you don't want to put your players at risk.
Dale?
Yeah, that's hard to say who is right, because I understand the whole aspect of not wanting to put your players at risk, but we have seen teams play when they had a COVID player. They just left that player out, and I'm talking about college. So I can understand where Dabo's upset too. Me, I think they should have played, but
I think they should have played also. There hasn't been any evidence of transmission taking place during the game. Now, there's no way to prove that hasn't happened. I mean, today in the NFL, we see 4 or 5 people who had great games yesterday test positive today for COVID. So, but I think Dabo is mainly speaking from the fact that they had a bye last week, and not playing Saturday gives them 2 weeks off. And he's probably more worried about how they're going to fit in the playoff standings. And I think that's probably what he's upset about, that they didn't get a chance to be in the eyes of the voters after being off and after losing their last game. So the last thing you remember about Clemson is they lost to Notre Dame. Then they had a week off, and they were looking forward to coming back this week with Trevor Lawrence saying, hey, we're still Clemson. We got our guy back. And Trevor Lawrence needs to get in it before the voters, the Heisman voters again. And that's one less game he now has to put on display for the Heisman voters.
no question, that's got to be his motivation. Lose to Notre Dame, no play, get the chance to play, no play. So talking about where that, I'm sure he's looking at, we got to get into the playoffs. So when we look at the rankings, we see Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Clemson. Then you've got coming in behind them, Texas A&M, and Florida. So who do we think is going to make the playoffs? And do we really want to see a Bama Clemson in the semis, which I'm going to throw it at Gary first.
Well, I think the way the rankings are right now, with Alabama being 1, Ohio State 2, Notre Dame 2, Ohio State 3, and Clemson 4, you really wouldn't I think there's going to be a change between Clemson and Notre Dame to some extent because they have to play again. If Clemson loses to Notre Dame in the ACC championship, then Clemson's out because they'll have 2 losses. I expect Clemson to beat Notre Dame in the championship game. So then I think they flip-flop. Notre Dame falls to 4. Clemson jumps up to 2nd or 3rd. And then the only way you would see Clemson, Alabama again would be in the national championship.
Listen, I've got strong feelings on the college football playoffs. But, I mean, Clemson, Bama in the semis, that'd be a good semifinal. But let's be honest, Texas A&M is a great football team. They lost to Alabama. Alabama's a great football team. They beat Florida. Florida's a great football team. They won't end up in the playoffs because they won't be able to make it to the SEC championship game. But they're a good-ass football team, and I think they could beat Clemson. Hot take, I know. But, I mean, if Florida beats Alabama in the SEC thing, I think we could have Ohio State at 1, Clemson, Notre Dame, depending on who wins. And I think we could have Alabama, Florida flip-flopping it in there because those are some good football teams. Stop sleeping.
So for me, I just don't like to see that Ohio State in that mix. So I agree with you, Gary, in that I believe Clemson will beat Notre Dame in the upcoming championship game. That should move them up. I don't know that it moves them up more than third. Do I want to see a Bama Clemson first? To me, you got to be the best. You got to beat the best, and I don't think that really matters. I would hate to see an anticlimactic Ohio State in the final, in the final week. I'll say that, but I believe Notre Dame's a very good team too. But Notre Dame loses, they may drop out of the top 4. Just depends on how that championship game goes. So they could drop down to 5th, and you could see Texas A&M step up. So Notre Dame has a lot on the line as well in that game. Clemson, certainly, they're out if they lose, but it really doesn't bother me if they play Bama first. They all make it there, and Bama and Clemson plays first. Not a big deal, but we might not see a great championship game.
Yeah.
Well, it's our second One's Got to Go tonight. We really just got crazy. One's Got to Go. In-N-Out Burger, Cookout, or Hardee's / Hardee's Jr., I think. Well, just Hardee's.
Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Gary, what do you think?
I'm not really fond of any of them, but if I got to get rid of one, I guess it would be Cookout. Cookout was good when it first opened up, but I think they got too big, and I like their milkshakes, but everything else it's kind of a place like nothing else is open, so I'll just go here, So for me, it would be Cookout.
Interesting. So when I looked at this list, I thought, has Gary ever had In-N-Out?
Yeah, I've had it.
Okay, good, because you're picking a West Coast. They aren't past the Mississippi, so right. I've eaten it In-N-Out probably a dozen times. The safe one for me, Gary, oddly enough, is Cookout, and there's many reasons. Tray, corn dog on the tray, bacon wrap on the tray. You get your hot dog trays. Great Carolina hot dog. I mentioned you get a corn dog and a bacon wrap on your tray. Good barbecue sandwich. So I like Cookout. I really do. Out of these three, Cookout's safe. Hardee's, I grew up on Hardee's. So Hardee's is a long time. I love them. They had the best burgers when you were going to a McDonald's or to a Hardee's. Hardee's had the best burgers.
Charbroil.
Do what now?
Charbroil.
Yep. Had the first, they served hot dogs. They had hot dogs and they had chicken sandwiches before. And Carl's Jr. is about the same thing. In-N-Out, though, is a very good burger. And if you've never had In-N-Out, people, you can almost, Five Guys creates a very similar taste of a burger. Their shtick is about, French fries. But it's hard because there's things I like about Hardee's. Their shakes. Go ahead.
Here's the thing about Hardee's that got the slight edge over Cookout. I like Hardee's breakfast menu. and they serve breakfast. I prefer a Hardee's biscuit over a Bojangles biscuit, over a McDonald's biscuit. So, when I just want to grab a biscuit and keep it moving, I like a good Hardee's steak biscuit. So that's what gave Hardee's the edge over Cookout for me.
Gotcha. I love that sausage biscuit from Hardee's. Put a little mustard on it. That's a great thing. Yeah. But In and Out, that's a real tough one. I like them all for various reasons at various times. Just like I might eat a Big Mac once in a blue moon. But In and Out is a very solid burger. Yeah, I'll eat a Big Mac. Kevin Hart talked about that. I watched the Kevin Hart thing, and Kevin Hart was talking about he had just posted about going vegan, and then he's eating he went to Big Mac. He said, when you got to have a Big Mac. I don't know if you've seen his little skit, but
no, I hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, so he's sitting he said, I pulled right, I get it, get it at the checkout, go pull up. I got to eat it right there in the parking lot, and some lady comes up and she starts filming me because he had just posted like the day before about vegan. So anyway, In and Out. I don't mean to carry on. I would keep In and Out and have to get rid of Hardee's, Carl's Jr., but that's a tough decision.
Kenzie?
So I'm going to be honest. North Carolina people, they always tend to get a little mad. I've never had Cookout. I've had Hardee's like once when I was like 4. And I've had In and Out once. So we're just gonna get rid of Hardee's because my brother loves Cookout. He gets the corn dog combo.
Kenzie, how do you live in Cornelius and you never been to Cookout?
That's the hangout in Huntsville.
I moved there.
Hangout everywhere.
Cookout, like what the heck is Cookout? I can make a hot dog at home. Like
you don't go out and nothing's open except Cookout.
Don't you slander Cookout good name.
Oh,
not
the sticky floor in.
You don't like Waffle House?
No, not the sticky floor in. No, I can't do Waffle House.
No, you gotta go Waffle House. That is the bomb.com.
Thanks is bougie though. You can't. South Park living,
man. I can't do it. But I got to tell you, for me, it's In and Out because when my kids, when we were in Vegas, I'd never been In and Out, and they said, "Dad, we got to go In and Out," and that's all they talked about the whole time we were going. And I turned around 8 lanes of traffic to circle back to this In and Out, and went in and got it. And they didn't tell me you had to get a double because a single In and Out is like a sausage biscuit. Right. I got a single, and the fries are horrible. In and Out fries are like horrible.
Your fries are not good.
Horrible. I'm not an In and Out fan. I Cookout. Hardee's great burgers, charbroil, like you guys talked about. In and Out's got to go. I go with Cookout. Sam, you can't answer this question because they don't have vegan burgers.
If we would have went Burger King Impossible Whopper, we would have been back in the business.
All right, it's time for our last coach versus coach. We're gonna put Kenzie and Dale in the bag.
I don't even want Gary anymore with the Cookout slander. I mean, and the Cowboy shirt. I was accepting the Cowboy shirt, but like Cowboy shirt plus the Cookout slander, Langston, you might have to stay in the middle. We're gonna need to wake up Chris and get him on the computer.
Up the music. I'm gonna give you guys a bonus question. Grice said he wanted a little bit of this Clemson, Florida State action. Who got it right, Sam and Grice?
Clemson, Florida State. Man, I'll start here. I mean, I think the biggest point that I have, which again with Dabo's hypocrisy, is if it was the other way around and Florida State had the symptomatic player that all of a sudden, the details seem to be in dispute, but if he had been symptomatic, tested negative, then potentially tested positive, everyone would be saying we don't need to endanger Clemson, we don't want to endanger Etienne, Lawrence, things like that. To me, it's an issue that we're having to force a team to play when they're already saying, hey, no, you have a player that obviously exhibited symptoms, and these players seem to be getting it somewhere else. Maybe not through the actual game, but being around each other or whatever it may be. That it's no way Norvell can put his team in that kind of situation when he himself and multiple players have already encountered that with their team. Like Dabo coming out for that was another instance of Dabo being self-serving and him just only doing something because in this situation would have benefited him if they'd went ahead and played the game.
Yeah, I think that Florida State had to do something behind the scenes we don't know about. They were just scared to play. I think it had to be something we don't know.
And I don't think that's wrong either. No, let me get that right too. I'm not taking Norvell off the hook. I think they were like, you know what? This works.
We good.
Signing day is a couple weeks away. Just want to point that out. You don't want to lose 56-0 3 weeks before signing day. I'll get out the way.
Oh, I agree 100%. I love how Langston does that, like the little pop in, like, hey, message. but I think the biggest failure, which pisses me off, is the ACC doesn't have those stringent protocols to say, hey, all right, if there's a guy that's symptomatic, because that has to be an answer. If there's a guy that's positive and that is there at the facility or at the opposing team's facility ready to play a game, there's got to be the ACC has to be able to rule on that. I think that's been the biggest problem with the NCAA here. Once again, they're cowards in the sense of coming up with defined rules for all of these conferences and stating this is what we're all going to do and we're going to make this happen. And so I think when you leave gray area, now you got two coaches fighting about what's right. And as we both are men of standards and men, Christian men of morals, there's a standard. And I think when you don't have that one standard, it leads to situations like this. And I think that's the biggest travesty.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, drop the mic, guys. Drop the.
Like we're the Thunderdome and we got like popcorn music and then all these things. I'm just saying, like all these like prep kids and Heisman videos.
They're using our segments to build their Heisman videos, and we can't even get those same people to put together the fire things I've said on this segment. We can't even get a video of that. Like,
all right, guys, let's keep it moving. Sunday, Panthers at Vikings. Who you got?
I guess I'll start with this one. I mean, so you got it, and I think that's been the tough thing about this Panthers season. So again, we rehashed. We had the over/under. I think it was 7, and we're at 4 right now. The Panthers have been so unlucky to get these teams where the week before they had the worst performance they've had. You talk about Tampa Bay when they got blown out on Sunday night the week before they played and come out looking good. I think the Saints before they played them kind of the same situation. Now you got another team who lost to the freaking Cowboys, and all of a sudden now they have to play that team off of their worst game. And so, it's one of those times where it's like I think in a normal, team is playing okay, the Panthers will win, but I just think the Vikings are going to come out here a lot stronger than they did last week.
Thielen tested positive.
You said what?
Adam Thielen tested positive today.
You don't like to say that, say that helps, and that's great. But I mean, I think Dante Jackson in secondary is pretty excited to not have to worry about him, playing this coming week. So the biggest question to me is if Teddy's playing. I mean, I think that PJ is good enough, but a lot of these games where you got these these middle of the road teams, Teddy usually shines and does pretty well. So I think if Teddy's in there for sure, Panthers could get a good win. If you win this and kind of put together 2 in a row, that puts us at 5-5, 5-6. That's 5-6, I think it is. It's pretty close. Again, you're close to 500. You're starting to look at an 18 playoff where you're maybe a game out of that 8 seed, or you're getting close to really looking at making the playoffs. So I think you keep pushing. You win a game like this, hopefully you can get McCaffrey back at some point. Try to push and make a playoff run. So I love what Rule's doing.
I just wish that they would lose some more games. I don't want them to win these type of games. Like they need to lose versus the Vikings. Like if you're a middle road team, you're not going to get a great draft pick. And I think that they have a good system, a good thing in moving forward. But we need a good draft pick. But like you said, they do get the bad end of the stick. Like Minnesota coming off a loss to the worst team in the NFL outside of the Jets. And it's just frustrating because they're definitely going to be like looking at themselves in the mirror, and they're going to come back like crazy versus the Panthers. And it's going to be hard to defend, Dalvin Cook after the performance he had. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be tough.
Well, let me preface the next question by being honest and saying I absolutely hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't stand them. I respect Mike Tomlin. I hate the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do they go 16-0? Sam?
I'm going to say no, they're not going to go 16-0 because with the eye test, when you're watching them play, they're really, really good at squeaking out games, but they're not like a dominant. Like when the Patriots were 16-0, it was a different type of feel watching them. You're like, oh, my God, they're unbeatable. And then the magical thing happened in the Super Bowl. But I don't think that they want to even go 16-0 and lose, in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl. they'd rather lose a game now, regroup, figure things out, and then win a Super Bowl. And then they'll be the most Super Bowl teams out of anybody in the NFL, correct? Aren't they tied with the Patriots right now?
No, they're still up, right? They're
tied.
Oh, yeah, Patriots won that with the 28-3. Yep.
Yeah.
So this is, it sounds. I go back and behind the scenes, gets on there. It's like, hey, no way Steelers are going 16-0. Then I looked at the schedule, and the 16-0 and great records is all about opportunity and a little bit of luck. So we look at their schedule. So they've got the Ravens on Thursday night. Oh, that's in doubt now because you got J.K. Dobbins. You got what's the other running back? The starting running back, Edwards or Ingram? Yeah, so they both actually tested positive today for COVID. So you got a team that's a running team, and two of their biggest guys that run the ball have tested positive, putting the game in doubt and severely hindering the Ravens, their biggest rival. After that, they've got the WFT, as I call them, Gary's big rival over there, the football team. And then they go Bills, Bengals, Colts, and Browns to finish up the year. You talk about the team with the Bills is probably the biggest, team that they'll have to play there. But outside of that, the best record of the team is going to be the Browns. The Colts are a team that can hang around, but I would say the Steelers would be favored in every single one of those games going out. And honestly, they are a team that can win without their A game. You look at
football team.
The Colts are a good football team. No, they are. I agree 100%. But again, as you talk about, and even when you talk about Griner, looking towards the end of the year, so the Colts could be in a situation where they could have the division locked up by then. You look at that where if they've got a 2-game, because that's the next to last game of the season. If they've got a 2-game, lead on their sorry division, good Lord, they may have the division clinched. They may not be able to improve, where they are in the standings. You might see them rest players in this new interesting COVID environment. The Browns, again, are not going to beat the Steelers. The last time the Browns have beaten the Steelers?
Yeah, they'll probably
don't. Neither do I. Like, again, they ain't beating them. I don't care. And so I just think it's one of those weird situations where, I think they can go 16-0.
I got you.
All right. Well, guys, one of y'all is getting ready to be on somebody's bulletin board come playoff time. Who's the best team in the state right now? Richmond Senior or Vance? And just remember, you both got to play Vance, okay? And if you have a good season, you may run into Richmond County. They're going to play this back. So who you got?
We're not going to run in any one of these teams if we make the playoffs because
I always got to play Vance. Like
they big enough. Playoffs.
It's IBM Drive, man. Good Lord. Like, you can like them and they say, oh, you're too nice to me. We're going to beat you down. It's just the Vance mentality or the Chambers mentality.
Here's the thing. I think Vance last year was definitely the better team, but they lost a lot of guys, and they lost the guys. As much as you want to say Power Eccles is the truth of a leader, Richmond Senior still has their truth of a leader in Caleb Hood, and he is a monster. And I think that everybody's getting stronger. They have a bad taste in their mouth. They got those LED lights ready to roll again. Richmond Senior is the best team in the state right now, in my opinion. And I think it's what Till's instilled in them. Like they're the type of school that like everybody's wearing a leather jacket. They have a culture over there that like everybody's like, oh, there's the leather jacket. Here, give him a free drink. I can see that in that county, and there's something to that. And so Vance is definitely always going to be special. They're always going to refire. They've got a good coaching staff, great defense coordinator, great head coach. They do a lot. They're really, really good. But I think they're probably the second best team in the state.
Right.
We had all these wonderful quotes here by Coach Till, who I love, all these Rocky quotes that I love. And the one that I thought of whenever I thought of this question was the quote by the illustrious, amazing Ric Flair. To be the man, you've got to beat the man. And when you look at Vance, or as I call them, Vance/Chambers High School, the mentality. You talk about that mentality out there in Rockingham, and it's there. But when you drive on IBM Drive, it's a difference. And Griner, I know you've seen it, from afar and seen it kind of, in spots here and there. But to actually be immersed in that, and Garrett, is aware of that as well. To be immersed in that culture, to see just the mentality. I don't care who you put in there. The minute they get in that weight room, the minute they spend an off season there, you can see, that it comes out, man. I mean, you see, through the state, the state title run, you got the young freshman Conception last year. You got the Smothers kid, the Hollywood that's played varsity. You get the Morris kid back. Austin Greer is still there. You've got guys around that, hey, even though you got spots that are missing on that defense, that offense is now building and getting better. And every year it seems to be a question with those guys over there. It's like, okay, the year with Brand when he takes them there, it's like, well, no way they make it. They've got to, play these couple teams that they got to get through Huff and they got to get through all these teams and lose Wake Forest. Brand leaves, and there's no way this new coach coming in June, he can't do this. It's going to be a lot to go there. They finished, third in the conference, and then end up having the toughest run. And like I've told you and argued before, that run was more magical than yours. Granted, the teams they have to beat go out there and destroy Richmond in Richmond County, in that stand with all those LED lights to do it. You can't question those boys on IBM Drive. That's the best team. I see somebody beat them. I treat them like I treat Catholic. I need to see them. If they were a physical person, I would need to see them, see the doctor put their heartbeat on them, and check all of that and say, oh, yep, they're confirmed dead. You ain't going in there, or they can take the party to you. They're going to beat you regardless.
Yeah, I'm not saying they ain't good. They're definitely a great team. I just think Richmond County is, if I had to pick one right now, someone put my feet to the fire and like what we're doing right now, I'm not afraid to say it with confidence. I'm saying Richmond Senior is the better team going into the season.
All right, guys. Well, on Friday, not Saturday, the Tar Heels have their biggest game in years, probably since the ACC championship. Notre Dame comes to town. Can you see an upset? Here's my thing. If Carolina can get 2 stops a half, they got a chance. What do you guys think? Sam?
Yeah, I mean, Sam Howell is the truth, and I think he rises up to big games. I know that type of kid, what lives inside of him. He is special, and not everybody has it. There's a lot of people that have talent. So I think for this big game, I think that they could rise up and then beat Notre Dame. I think that it can definitely happen. An upset can happen. I'm pulling for Sam Howell to get this big upset because it will resurrect some of the losses that they had versus like Florida State. And that would be huge if they win this game. Then they got a chance. But watch what Sam Howell does in a game like this. Just watch how special he is. He'll show you why in a year from now he's a first-round draft pick.
And a Heisman candidate.
And a Heisman candidate, no doubt.
Bryce?
I swear I feel like we argue, on different sides of like some of these guys. Like I swear I'm telling Griner that Hal is the, amazing guy and he's this and that last week. And now it's in a situation where I'm sitting here telling you, no, he's not though, not this week. But, the bigger thing here is that I do think this Notre Dame team is a little different. And it's one of those, but, kind of situation. But to see how they executed and how they played when they beat Clemson, of course it was with DJ Uangale, or Lele, however you pronounce that name. But yeah, so I do think Ian Book is a kid this year. He's really shown that he's going to take care of business. That UNC defense, I love Jay Bateman to death, but it ain't what it used to be. And I think they're going to struggle against, the pass with Ian Book, and he's going to make sure that he's going to do enough for that victory. But I do think it's going to be one of those where you better bring your points with you because that's going to be one of the old shootouts.
Is Carolina in the Big 12?
It seems
on
like
defense, they are. Good God.
Don't you disrespect Jay Bateman like
They're going to have to put up 50.
It's not Jay Bateman. It's the people playing for Jay Bateman.
Yeah,
they got to put up 50 to win. I mean, this is a great opportunity for Carolina to make a statement. I remember when they were really good back in 97, 98, Florida State came to town. They were like number 3 in the country, and everybody thought this is their moment, and they kind of laid an egg and lost like 20-3 or something like that. This is another one of those moments for them, and I think they need to take advantage. But I think they're going to have to bring a 50-piece to win. I really do.
They also bring in Herb Streak and
Fowler. Yeah. They got the big boys. I mean, this is a big moment game. It's a Friday night. Everybody's watching. It's going to be an amazing game. I'm gonna steal your thunder on this last question. Best Turkey Day dessert: pumpkin, pecan pie, cobbler. Kinsey, you can go first because you always have a wacky view of things.
Even sweet potato pie, Grice wanted to add in.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sorry, man.
Sweet potato pie. Kinsey, you go.
So we actually don't have pecan pie.
Yeah, I knew there was something. I knew there was something.
Because my dad's allergic.
Okay.
So,
Why you ain't living a Kenzie? You're not living a life of like you haven't been to the cookout. You don't eat pecan pie. I'm worried about you. I'm gonna pray for you. That's what I'm Thanksgiving. I'm concerned about you living a legit teenager life. Sorry.
All right, Kenzie.
Waffle House. It's okay.
All right, Kenzie.
And I don't like the texture of pumpkin pie, so I got to go cobbler.
Cobbler. Okay, Grice. What you got, Grice?
It's sweet potato. I mean, if I have to choose, there we go. See, that's what I love. This Talking Preps is amazing because it finds its way on there. Sweet potato pie, man. I mean,
I spelled potato wrong, but it's okay.
It's okay. Hey, you got it up there quickly. I appreciate that. But it's sweet potato pie for me. I mean, it takes me back to my mom, cooking, sweet potato pies for me as a young kid. It's something every Thanksgiving, whether, I drive up to Greensboro just for that. I'm not ashamed. But it's an elite Thanksgiving, dessert for me. And I mean, you're going to give me my choice. I take that all day. Pumpkin pie is a close second for me, though.
Gary Richmond.
I was about to get on you about not putting potato pie on there because I'm going to just be like, this is a cultural thing. And us African Americans don't mess with no pumpkin. But anyway, potato would be first. Now, the cobbler, if it's apple, and you got some vanilla ice cream, that's a close second. Close second. But I had to go with potato or potato or however how you spell it.
Now, I bet that Dale is having something barbecue on Turkey Day, but what's your favorite dessert?
Man, see, all these are good. And cobbler, blackberry, great. I love blackberry cobbler. But there are certain things like ham is not a Thanksgiving thing. That's a Christmas thing. So you throw ham out on Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is also, for me at least, is pumpkin. I love pumpkin pie. I love sweet potato pie. Bojangles got great sweet potato pies. Pecan pie or pecan pie. But I got to have that pumpkin.
All right, Mr. Grinder, do vegans eat dessert?
I had a friend over the other night, and he's like, "Yeah, vegan. Yeah, there's no way that's vegan. It has too much sugar." And I'm like, "Brother, we can eat all the sugar we want. We can." They're gonna losing weight eating sugar. That's a good way to live right there. So I'm gonna be honest with you. If they have these at Thanksgiving, I'm going and I'm getting a plate just for desserts, and I'm putting every one of them on my plate, and I'm smashing it in front of everybody because I don't care. Like I can eat this. There's not a problem here. And but the best one of them all, like I love sweet potato pie, I love pecan pie or pecan pie, and then I like blackberry cobbler. Like Dale was hitting it all on the head. Like get rid of the ham, straight turkey. I'm gonna have a little turkey. I'll dabble a little turkey for you guys just to see, it's tradition. But pumpkin pie is definitely the way to go. Pumpkin pie. It's just something about this time when it gets cold. You got to have pumpkin. People go crazy in Starbucks getting pumpkin everything. Pumpkin pie is where it's at. Unbelievable.
Well, I got
it. Hey, Sam.
Hello, Langston.
My grandma makes rest in peace. My grandma made the best peach cobbler in the history of man. It was like to the side of the pan, that little crusty part. That part that like little slightly burnt on the corner. That was the best dessert ever for me. Was that cobbler. I would not eat so much turkey so I could eat more cobbler. That's how good it was.
That's awesome.
I got to go.
Hey, Sam, let me ask Sam. You need to post a picture on social media of you eating turkey on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I want a video. That's a good thing.
We got to see that.
Right. That's fine.
Guys. So the last time Sam and I were together. We leave South Point. We have to go to Hooters. Why do we have to go to Hooters, Sam?
Unreal wings, baby. They got
no. We went to Hooters before. Why did we have to go to Hooters after the game?
So we could eat some wings.
Who wanted some real wings?
Did you cheated, Sam? You
didn't cheat.
I got my wife some wings.
Exactly.
You were cheating.
That household divided.
My kids eat chicken wings.
Train up a child.
And you sneaking chicken wing while they're having chicken wings.
Well, let's pause this for a second. My wife went on for like a month straight, she was like, I'm eating chicken. She got someone in her head that was talking about, you need this protein because she's working out at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Looking good, by the way, too, smoking hot. Check it out. She was like, I need the protein. And I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden, she started eating the meat, and she was gaining weight, but she was working out so hard. I was like, I told you. I was like, look, you eat more meat when you do that. It's not a very good thing. So she went back now, but that was the time where she wanted some chicken wings, Dale. You called me. Why you throwing me under the bus, Dale? I
thought he had something good. He said stop. I was like, oh,
Sam, Justin Odom wants you to give some props to Grayson McCall, later Porter Ridge, and Coastal Carolina. They slipped down to number 16. They did beat Appalachian State on Saturday, and that game got put on national television when Dabo didn't play.
Well, Grayson McCall, I talked to him on the phone actually like a few days ago, and you're talking about a stud athlete, a guy that can rally the troops. I mean, he is the guy you want at the helm, and he's running an offense very similar to the one he ran at Porter Ridge, and he's dominating. I think they're a team that you do not want to play. I don't care if it's a big school or not, because it's almost like going against the Army of the type, but they have a really, really good offense. They run the ball really effectively. He can go 60, 70 yards. He's an amazing leader. He'll truck you to get the first down, and he's very precision in his throwing right now, and he makes you pay when he throws it. Grayson McCall is definitely, if there's a way that we could put him in the Heisman, he needs to get recognized for it, to be honest with you, because he's really dominating this year.
If Liberty played Coastal, who would win?
Coastal.
Coastal.
Liberty and Coastal, who wins?
Oh, it's not even close. Coastal blast them.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not even close, to be honest with you.
When we were talking earlier, Kenzie put something in the back, and I want to get to the realignment thing. But Kenzie put something in the back. Kenzie, tell everybody what they told you if they discovered you had COVID on campus. What would happen?
So you have to go in and do these questions. I guess if you can't get picked up fast enough. So we have these trailers, the modules. And so they're just going to send all these sick kids to a trailer so we can all, get COVID together and just hang out. So if I cough, it's go to the COVID trailer, go down.
That's just not a good idea right there.
No.
I mean,
I don't know. We're supposed to go back to school. Teachers, I think, are supposed to go back Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you what, you're going to have some teachers that have zero chance of showing up Monday.
I hear from a lot of teachers, a lot of cafeteria workers, a lot of bus drivers are literally terrified of going back to school right now. It's going to be a tough ask.
Will CMS petition the state not to have to come back for EOCs?
Yeah.
Because the high schools have to come back in December.
Kenzie, what are they telling you guys, Kenzie? Are you going back or not? What are they saying?
So I don't have any EOCs or finals that I need to come back for, but my brother does. He has 2. So he'll be going back to the school to take his final before Christmas break.
Gary, I guess you'll be working that day as a sub because the regular teachers ain't going.
Hey, I tell you what, you give a little bit of a stipend, a COVID stipend, for teachers to come back. Yeah. You pay teachers about $5,000 more, just as a bonus.
No, I mean they need hazard pay because you really are dealing with a hazard. I mean Bale's talked about it all year long. I mean that's a real life contract.
Well, one of the good things about being a teacher, they've been declared essential workers, so they're going to have access to the first vaccine as well.
Yeah.
And if they want me to work, they better put my name on that list and get that shot.
You know what? I hope that Q Tucker and her crew have some ability, if we have to move football back maybe a month, to let the vaccine have a little bit more time to become available.
Well, here's a good question for you.
I don't want to sit out a whole year.
Once the vaccine is available, should it be mandatory that all athletes take the vaccine or they can't play?
Oh boy, you starting a big political war on that. I know a lot of parents don't take 2 shots.
You got something talking about that's the mark of the beast. I'm telling you, you don't want
Ticketmaster very briefly said we're going to make anybody who wants to come to one of our concerts have a vaccination for COVID, and they just got bombarded with.
You can't.
You can't take my freedom. You can't make me do stuff.
They're not taking your freedom.
No, they're not. You're making your choice.
Realignment.
That's a good point. You're making a choice.
It's a choice. It's not mandatory. It's a choice.
So, Griner, how do you feel about going to 3A?
Dude, I saw
Oh
that.
yeah, let's also realize
I was like, me and Coach Harris. He's like,
it's not in stone yet, though, Griner. It's potential.
It makes a lot.
That thing's like bracketology, man. They don't miss. High school team does not miss. Shout out to those guys. Like they tell you in the playoffs, you're in the playoffs. Like when they tell you ain't in the playoffs, pack your stuff up and sanitize your helmets. All right, shout out to those guys.
Absolutely, they do a good job. We had him on the show back in the summer when he put out a thing. But go ahead, Sam. Tell us about being in 3A.
Yeah. So what if it happens? Okay. I think we'll get better gates if we get in a different conference because we'll have Harding, West Meck that would definitely be in our conference, I think, then.
Charlotte Catholic might be back in your conference. You do it down 3A.
Who?
Charlotte Catholic.
Catholic, I saw 4.
Catholic's 4A. See, that's what I'm saying.
4A?
Yes.
4A, yep.
Wow. I haven't seen the projections yet.
Weddington's bumped up. Weddington's bumped up. So, yeah, so it makes
Little
sense.
4A is the beast. Like, 4A is now ridiculous. Like, you got Little 4A, you got some of those Union County schools like Cuthbertson's there.
But it makes a lot of sense. Like
Marvin Ridge,
someone said, when you talk about a team that has 1,200 kids, like West Meck has 1,200 kids or something last year, then you're talking about the funds. They have this little formula that they're putting in. It's not just numbers now. It's talking about funds and access. It's the smartest thing they've done yet because all of a sudden you got a West Charlotte that might have, or Harding, 35 guys on your varsity team, and 4 of them are the JV players because you only have 15 JV players and you're trying to make a JV. And then you're going against someone in your same conference that has 90 guys on the other sideline. It just doesn't make sense. It's demoralizing for some kids because you're trying everything you can and everything you're teaching these kids. Like, the first wave, but then they got a second wave, a third wave, and a fourth wave. So,
that's great, Sam. But the truth of the matter is, you're glad you don't have to play Vance for Richmond County to get to a state championship. Let's just be honest.
Oh yeah, well, let me get my feet wet. Let me get something brewing here, and then in 3 or 4 years, we'll non-conference some things. Write that check. Check.
What you got?
The question is, would West Charlotte challenge it? Because it has been in the past that teams have been assigned. Philip O'Berry is a good example.
I would not challenge that if I was West Charlotte.
So would you challenge it?
We're not
challenging. You talking? They will hang 2 basketball and 2 football banners within 5 years. I would not challenge that.
That's what I'm talking about, Langston.
3A is very tough.
Still 3A.
3A is moving up.
Hey, here's what's gonna happen.
We'll see it when it happens.
When they rebuild West Charlotte and it's a new facility, those kids are gonna start transferring back because Sam is gonna be winning and they're gonna bump them right back.
And then Ground's gonna get the heck out of there to another school.
I know, right?
All right, Bryce, I'm gonna tell you something. I've learned my lesson. As long as my principal.
Hold on, one shot. Wait a minute. Hold on. Go ahead.
I have learned my lesson. The grass is not greener on the other side. Okay, and so I left Harding. That was a bad decision probably at the time. I did it emotionally because of some things that happened. But like, as long as West Charlotte, my principal Hoskins, and my AD Harris are there, those are my guys. I will go to battle for them for as long as my career will last. Really will. I am not going anywhere.
CMS is not going to let you go 3A. I'll tell you that now.
Don't you dare.
What are you saying?
CMS is the one that controls in.
Yes, they are. You got to be a brisket if
I sat through the meetings on this. I sat through the meetings on trying to keep Olympic from being pushed down into 3A and Philip O'Berry still being able to play up into 4A. It's all a CMS decision here within these three.
We're going to send you to the trailer, Dale. We're going to send you to the trailer.
I think there's more schools. Back then, there was a problem with schools.
I don't think CMS will do it. I don't think they'll let.
I'm with Dale. it's too much tradition at West Charlotte for them to be a 3A.
Yeah, they're not going
numbers.
to.
You guys are old guys. It's the new wave. Like they don't have kids like that.
Man. And unlike in the past, there's more schools nearby. When you drop down to 3A, it's like you got to drive 8,000 miles to find a conference.
West Meck ain't West Meck anymore. They had 19 kids on JV week 4 when we played.
We've also had split 3A, 4A conferences in Charlotte in the recent years too. So
I think
Gary, a good friend of the show, Gabby Bird, put out a statement here talking about what you were talking about. She said CMS asked the federal government for a waiver for testing, so they don't have to return to school Monday in preparation or have to conduct in-person testing. So, Kenzie, your brother may not go back to Huff if CMS gets the response they're looking for.
See, this is all so confusing. I have no clue what's going on.
Well, they don't have an answer yet. Guys, it's been really fun. I mean, we've done this.
Broke the record for the time.
I don't think we missed a week. Maybe we missed 1 week since February. I mean, we've gone and gone and gone and gone. And I had a lot of fun. Too much fun. Probably the most fun of anything I do all week. And Sam's idea to get the college coaches on here was great. I've seen that idea copied now in about 4 or 5 different shows.
Oh.
So I think
Langston.
No, I'm not really not. I mean, I think the more shows out there that do things for kids, the better.
I'm not hating any show that anybody, if they're supporting these kids in high school prep sports in any way, it's good.
Absolutely. I'm saying, I look, people will say, Langston, they're doing a show, and I won't say the town. They're doing a show in this town. It's just like your show. And I look at it, I say, oh, okay, it's cool. Right. This idea that we have is not original. It's not like I made it up. So,
right. Yeah.
It's like being a football coach. Nothing you call is original. So, I mean, I'm not mad. I want the kids to get covered. I think it's great that you guys are willing to spend your time to do it, and guys on other shows are willing to spend time to do it. And I've done this for 30-something years, and hopefully I'll do it for a few more before they run me out of here. But so we're going to get back together in February. We're going to have a preseason show. We're going to have the Heisman watch list. We have a lot of fun. More Grice's gyms, more fresh faces. We're going to expand the show when we come back. We're going to have Alex on talking about Raleigh every week, and we want to take this show statewide and even Carolinas wide. It's there's no footprint anymore. Like when I started out as a reporter, it was just as far as our trucks could go. The internet goes everywhere, so we want to include everybody to be a part of the show. Before we get out of here, we got to go to Sam one last time for the last couple of months. Sam, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is that it's Thanksgiving week, and I just want to say I'm thankful to be a part of this show and all the camaraderie we have. And I was glad that Chris got to come back. It was a little bit emotional because I missed that guy. He his insight is pretty special. But the one thing I'm most thankful for is that I'm saved, and without being saved, I know how broken of a person I am. I might have a lot of fun on the show and a lot of things, but a lot of people, we don't know what they're dealing with. And I'm just thankful that I got a family that supports me, and very thankful that I'm saved and I'm able to live out a life that I'm living today, and excited about February coming forward with you guys again.
Absolutely. I got to tell you guys, I know Sam really well, and I've gotten to know him over the last 4 or 5 years, and he's probably the most misunderstood coach, I think, in Charlotte. And I know a lot of people think he's one way, but he's really not. He just has a personality like that. Yeah. He sounds a good guy, and I can kind of relate to that because I think a lot of people misunderstand me too. I mean, people I meet that dislike me. I'm like, I don't even know that person.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like I when I was back at Butler in the days, and they used to talk about you, Langston, I didn't know you at the time. Then when I built a relationship, I'm like, this dude ain't nothing like they said. Like people build something in their head and they believe it.
In private school mafia, we know he's a main man in private school mafia. I walked with him to Christian. He had a kid that went to Christian. They said, "Hello, Mr. Works." Like it was like a handshake. You know what I mean? Like they almost didn't check his temperature if I wasn't standing there. That's how much a main man he is. Like that's true. That's what people need to know.
But you know who the real star of this show has been all year is Miss Kenzie. Kenzie, you've been so far since the beginning. I wish I could go back to week 1 and you were saying one word.
Yeah.
Now we can't get you to stop talking about Arkansas.
Now she's cursing.
Right. Those Hop Huskies, baby.
Yeah, it's been fun. Gary, got any final thoughts, Gary?
Y'all got to have the Charles Barkley attitude about who likes you and who doesn't like you.
That's a good point.
Charles Barkley always said 50% of the people gonna like you and 50% of the people gonna hate you. If you try to impress the ones that don't like you, you turn off the ones that do like you. So just keep being yourself.
That's great advice. That's great advice. Dale, what's on your mind, man?
Well, just to back up on that, you should never worry about what somebody says about you unless you hold respect for them. And thus, how can you respect someone that you don't know?
Right.
So the only person that can hurt you with their words would be someone that you respect.
Right.
So hold that.
Yeah, I went through a rough time with that. You know, I do those soulful 70s I used to do a lot. And I got like this evil message about one, like, you know, who do you think you are? You think you're somebody, da 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 da. And like, it hurt me. I was like, shoot, like, I don't think I'm nobody. I'm just trying to speak some wisdom in life. But it made me shut it down. Like, they won, you know, and I got to get back on the road.
Well, don't let them win, Sam. Get back to it.
No, you can't.
I will tell you that one thing I've learned during the time I've done this is that people that like stuff really don't say anything. But when they don't like something, they'll be the first person to hop on a forum, send an email, send a text, go tell somebody else. And sometimes, you know, it's nice to hear when you go places. I really appreciate what you guys do. I hear that about you guys on this show all the time. Almost everywhere I go, people ask about Grice all the time. Did he really talk that much? Like, yeah, he does talk that much. And they ask, is Kenzie really that mature? I'm like, yeah, she's really that mature. And I mean, seriously, I mean, I get these questions everywhere I go. So you guys have made an imprint on the community, and you know, I appreciate y'all, man. I love all of y'all for coming on. We'll come back in February, do it again. I'm Langston, that's Gary, that's Grice, that's Dale, that's Miss Kenzie, that's Sam. We're talking preps. We love you guys. We'll catch you in February.
That's right.
Live long and prosper.
Good night.
Good night.